Okay, so let me go back to sharing my screen. All right. So welcome again to Unleash Your Color. And I'm Sherry Stein, and I will introduce myself shortly. But the class objectives this evening are a couple. The first is to first understand the power of color, to understand the difference between color therapy and color psychology. Those words are interchanged a lot, and we're just going to define those this evening. We're going to also explore your relationship with color in the past as well as in the present. Experience of color in a way that helps you determine what colors and approaches will work best for you, and what wellness colors that can be explored for your surroundings. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Sherry Burton-Steine. I'm an author, a mentor, certified color therapy specialist, certified interior environment coach, and award-winning interior designer in the Washington, D.C. area. I am also a yoga teacher as well, and an aromatherapist. So I wear a lot of different hats, and I come to color from a standpoint of over 18 years of experience as being a designer and a color consultant. And I am just so excited that I finally have this opportunity to start sharing what I know, because I've done the business, I've been involved for a long time, and I'm just really want to just give all my knowledge away now. I'm just so happy to see so many enthusiastic people about color. So, about color in and of itself, you know, a lot of folks misunderstand the power of color. The color is very, very powerful, and everyone has an opinion, a preference, all those things about color. And from the standpoint of being a designer who have worked with a lot of spaces throughout my career, the color is the first thing you see when you walk into a room. And it speaks louder than any other object in the room. It speaks louder than what the lighting and all of those things that you see in the space. And color can be seen on the walls, it can be seen on furniture, it can be seen on accessories, all these types of things. And again, everyone has a response to it. You have an immediate response whenever you see color. And there are what I call vibrational energies of color, and colors can alter our mood, our behavior, and our physical and mental well-being. And the work I do as an interior environment coach is to work with people in creating spaces in which can help them be able to enhance their wellness, their well-being, their feelings, and their mood. And color is an important part of that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, color psychology and color therapy. So we're going to define first this word of color psychology, and some of you may have heard of it. And color psychology is how we respond to different colors, our perception of colors. And it's mostly used in marketing and communications. So when someone is designing their website, creating marketing material, brochures, their logos, and those kinds of things, a lot of brands want to work with color psychology so they understand who their customers are and how they react or relate to what they see in the color of your branding, your website, and that kind of thing. But color psychology can be used in the home and designed for specific purposes to elicit some sort of response or perception of what the color is. And we'll get into a little bit about that later. Now, color therapy, which is an area that I absolutely love, is using the therapeutic vibrations of color and light to heal. Now, this goes all the way back. This is not anything new, but it's actually coming back and coming into prominence in the wellness community. Color therapy has gone back to the ancient Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans. All of these groups had used color therapy, particularly the Egyptians used it in their homes through using light, fabrics, wall colors, and so forth to heal the sick. These are things that, have been around for years, but we've never really quite taken advantage of them. So a science called chromotherapy, which is very close to, if not color therapy, is looking at color light therapy. So you're using colored lights to heal individuals. And it is a holistic and non-invasive treatment that can bring health and balance to the body and mind. And that's what I use in working with individuals, both color therapy and color psychology, depending on the client and what an individual is looking for. Now, let's look at how color psychology works versus therapy. So while color psychology is the study of how different colors can influence human behavior, perception, color therapy is a lot different. It's based on the assumption that certain colors can impact people's energy and impact health outcomes. So we'll talk a little bit about that as we move forward. And as you are listening to this lecture or this class, put together your questions and we will go over all of the questions at the end. Okay, so I want to start first in you thinking about something that's easy. Hopefully it's easy. I've only met one person who didn't have a favorite color, which was really interesting to me. But anyway, everyone has a favorite color or colors. And we recognize our favorite colors as early as age 2. Imagine that at 2 years old, you resonated with a particular color that you saw somewhere in your lifetime. So what I want you to do for a minute is write down what your favorite color or colors are for you. And think about what kind of relationship you may have had with this color in the past. And what kind of relationship do you have with that color now? As well as what is the relationship you may desire or need in that color in the future. So I'd like you to just take a moment to just write those down and just think about those from a standpoint of what your favorite color is and your relationship with it. And then if you feel inclined, you don't have to, you can, you're welcome to share in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and chat about it. So we'll just give you a few minutes to explore that in your journal. I'll give you about 2 more minutes. One of my favorite colors is, or my favorite color is purple. And you can see I'm wearing purple tonight. It's my power color. Anna, you know about power colors from the course that we just went through. And we'll talk about power colors too. Okay, who would like to share?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Oh,
Okay, Anna and then Jill.
Okay, so thank you. Thanks, Jill. I remember my favorite color from when I was in kindy. So you're about 3 or 4, not quite 2. A kindergarten, which is preschool, I think, what you'd call it there. Is we had these colored blocks, size the sort of the thickness of a finger, and they're all different, and you'd make up fractions, you know, you'd have longer ones and shorter ones, and it was obviously sort of counting or maths based blocks, and it was crimson, which you would call magenta, but I just remember that color, and it's probably similar as the color I'm wearing, actually, crimson and magenta. I love it. It's always been an absolute favorite. I'd like to use more of it in my interiors, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure about the last question, though. I wasn't quite sure what you meant by what kind of relationship do you want in the future? Was that in regards to this color?
Yeah, so in other words, you kind of answered it by saying that you would like to use it in your interior, and that's something that you're looking at in the future of what you want to create that relationship with that color.
I find it very feminine, but very strong, unlike pink, which is softer. I find the magenta lovely and quite a powerful color for me personally.
Awesome. Okay, Jill.
It's interesting because I always liked red. I didn't really know as a child that I had a favorite color per se, but I know like early adult it was red, and I never really thought about why. But looking back, I think it's just because it was just a bold color. Now I have multiple favorite colors, but before I only had the one favorite color. But now I like red is kind of like the third favorite now. I would say my first may be yellow. Right now I'm really loving yellow a lot. So yellow, I like orange, pink, still red, and then white. Those are so I have like 5 favorites. And the yellow, I can't put my finger on why. It just makes me feel really good. I don't know why. I was looking over the information for the class. I was like, maybe it'll come to me. Like, why am I so drawn to yellow lately? I know pink. I use pink when you talk about future what we're trying to accomplish. I usually try to wear that. Like Friday, I had on all pink, different shades of like dark, light pink. I wanted to get into my feminine energy. If I want to feel soft, I want to feel more feminine. I'll wear the pink, and I do like the color. And then orange, I'm not really sure about that one either. I just like the way it looks. I'm not really sure why I like orange and yellow so much. But the white feels more like new. I know when I was going through a lot of changes in my life, a lot of new things were happening. I started gravitating toward a lot of white things. So even right now, like some of the things I choose to use for my business, I try to do like white. I just like that fresh, new, like I have white towels. I like my bed is all white, like the comfort is white. It just feels fresh and new.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. that you talk about that, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. I get so excited with this. I'm so passionate about it. One thing that I started noticing when I bought my latest house, when I put up artwork, I want to put them up in white frames and white mats. I have no idea why. I used to be definitely the black frame, and maybe a colored mat or something, but I just want like that fresh, clean look on my walls. So, and that's something that has changed in my life, and as I grew older. So, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
You really dug into this, so I really like that. And I see some comments in the chat. Renee's favorite color is orange. And she loved navy blue as a child. So we're going to talk about blue in a minute. Alessandra, blue, pink, green, and white. She remembers a loving shade of turquoise. And when she was a teenager, these colors made her feel comfortable, and white gives her confidence. Alessandra, are you still liking those colors that you liked as a teenager? I'm just curious. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, yes. Those are still my favorite colors. I'm actually wearing green right now. Not the favorite shade of green, but it's a green.
Okay, awesome. So it's just really interesting to see how we resonate with our relationship with color and what we wear. And a lot of times color experts will say, go and look in your closet for the colors that you absolutely, that you like. So I'm going to give you another exercise, and this one's going to be more exploratory. I want you to look around your room that you're sitting in right now or adjacent rooms and come up with 3 things, 3 objects. They could be a cup, a vase, a pencil, or something that are all the same color. So this is basically giving you a sense of what colors are around you. And it doesn't have to be a color that you like. So if there's 3 things that are white, think of, just pull 3 things. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be your glasses. I see Anna took her glasses off. It could be a piece of cloth. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes to do that.
Sorry, Sherry, you said to pick 3 things in
3 items in your space or in your home or someplace around you. And I'll give you about 5 minutes to do this.
And then write down the color of those
So you're
things.
going to bring them in front of you, and then you're going to show them.
And those things are just things that are
random items. Just random items. Gives you a chance to get up, stretch for a minute. I'm going to do the same thing. Let me get my 3 things. Okay. So what you get? Who wants to go first? Okay. Alessandra?
I was actually typing it all down, but I
Tell me
picked
what you have.
a coaster that I have for my
Okay.
water, and it's white with pink and turquoise
Okay.
and blue and some other, seashells. And then a mouse pad that's pink with
Mhm.
gold.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's just pink. And then my blanket, it's blue and pink and white.
Yay. Okay. Who else wants to show me?
Yeah. I just got handbags. I've got green,
Correct. Okay.
blue green,
Okay.
and yellow green.
Awesome.
It's just
Who else wants to go?
I'll go next. I got this planter that's a cow, but it's like white.
Okay.
I got my wallet, which is like a bluish green, and then I brought a plant, so I just grabbed whatever was best. So it's green.
Awesome. Yeah. Jill?
So the first thing I turned around and I can't really, well, I guess I can kind of show. I have a tan colored, well, I don't know which way I'm going. Ooh, it's hard for me to show you right there.
Uh-huh.
That little table thingies, tan.
Okay, I can see it.
And then I have that, can't really tell from looking at here, but I have a tan, I guess I can't flip it. Anyway, I have a tan room divider.
Okay.
I don't know if you can
Yeah, I see it.
I can't tell from here. And then a tan, oh, my bookshelf is tan shelves, but it has the white things because I just choose white. But I noticed that the shelving was tan, but I do have white in here too. But the first thing I noticed was the tan colors.
Right. So what do you think that exercise tells you about your surroundings and how maybe you overlook these things that are there from a color standpoint? Go ahead.
Well, I know for me, I intentionally know that I picked those colors. Like I spent a lot of time on that room divider looking at different colors and patterns that I wanted to put in here.
Mm-hmm.
The bookshelf, I intentionally looked at different colors and picked that particular one. And then the little table thing, that just kind of was what I had, but I just like, so for me, it wasn't really a happenstance. It really was intentional
Mm-hmm.
because I like the lighter wood color. So that's why
Nice.
I chose it.
Okay. All right. So if this exercise begins to give us a sense of colors in our environment, things that sometimes we take for granted, I should say, every day around us. And one of the things of becoming what I call color conscious is to begin to look at our environments in a way that we may not have ever done before, and understanding what colors surround us. And then as we begin to experience what's around us, we begin to appreciate and delve into more what color is all about and what our preferences are. And I'm a big fan of using and understanding yourself and what brings you joy, not what HGTV says, not what Architectural Digest says, or some blogger or whatever. It's what energizes and uplifts you. And one of the things that I am so passionate about is working with women in determining what these things are. So I just had to get on my soapbox about that. So anyway, some of the things that, we know that there are differences in warm versus cool colors. As you can see here is a a color wheel that basically kind of divides those colors. And, sometimes we have preferences for more warmer colors because we want more of a cozier feel, or we like cooler colors, which also not only cools down the space, but some of the cooler colors are more applicable for good sleep and makes a room feel a lot bigger, for example. So, understanding those differences is, often, pretty important as well. So let me, hopefully I can move my slide. It was moving a little bit before. Okay, here we go. So, categorizing colors into different groups of warm and cool can be just a start, so to speak. But the other thing is that we have these different ways of dividing various color palettes. We have our complementary, our split complementary, the triad, the tetrad, the tetrad. So these get very, very complex as you go along, and it can get a little confusing. But look at the bottom there where we talk about tint, tone, and shade. Those are those, when we talk about colors and we talk about, oh, I like that tint, or I like that tone, or I like that shade, it really means it depends on how much, for example, for the tint, how much white is in that color, how much gray is in that color, how much black is in that color. That really divides what those words mean. So it's really interesting when you begin to experiment with color, understanding what the under colors are with those that you can see in various light. So I just wanted to mention that because that's very important as well as you begin your journey in determining the bright colors for your home, for your office, or even your sacred space, or if it's just one room like your bedroom. And these are things that designers, decorators study as they are putting together various colors for various spaces. Now, these are some color wheels that talk more about emotions and how certain colors can bring out various emotions. The one on the left is just kind of like what we call color meaning psychology. What do we feel when we see certain colors? Moody, selfish, everything from positive to maybe not so positive. If you look at the red, for example, red with anger, red can be rage. It could be, when it takes it down all the way down to the pink, where some people may call that, a weak, very feminine color. So that's just one way that people look at color. The right side talks more about how colors can be more descriptive from a color psychology point of view. Pink is a creative color. Purple is about wisdom and spiritual mastery. Blue is trust. Green, growth and renewal. A lot of wood energy there, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then here's the color therapy types. Red is energy. Blue can treat depression and pain. So these are talking about how colors can heal and help with emotional wellness. Yellow enhances mood. There was someone who talked about yellow that they like. Orange can stimulate appetite. So if you see it a lot in fast food restaurants, for example, but it also can elicit happiness. So you can see there's a dual piece there. Green can relax and ease stress. Why do we say that? Because green is a color of nature. And when we see nature, we can see the trees, here in Maryland, where I am, the leaves are coming on the trees and the flowers and the, grass is beginning to grow and everything else. And when we go walking in the park, we feel at ease, in our stress, because we're bringing in that energy of the green color. Now, this slide here is really interesting, it's all about these emotions, anger and red, disgust and green, joy, yellow, genius, I need to express myself. So these are sometimes we can use color to describe an emotion that we have. And I thought like blue, if we're feeling blue, you've heard of that, right? Or the blues, and when we talk about music, needing connection to self and others for purpose. Fear can be associated sometimes with the purple color, the need to have greater sense of safety and security. So sometimes we can associate colors with emotions like this as well. And this is kind of like a mind mapping with a color wheel, where we're saying, where am I at? I slept, 2 hours last night. What did I have to eat or drink today? I've gone and outside, I've moved my body. What's going on in my world, and kind of taking a spin around these colors and trying to come up with our feelings associated with that and how they feel in your body as well. So here's another quick exercise that I wanted to share with you. And this is something I did not too long ago, where I was doing what we call a design psychology exercise. But I did this for the entire house. But I'd like you to take a moment and think about the homes you've lived in, or the spaces you've lived in, whether it was an apartment, a condo, an efficiency, a huge mansion, whatever, I don't care. Think about at least 2 spaces that you've lived in the last 10 years, and think about the colors in the interior of those homes, and if there were colors that you liked or did not like inside your home. Just kind of think about that. For some people, might have lived in 5 different spaces, or 8 different spaces, or maybe you've been in the same home in the last 10 years. Just think about, even when you first bought the house or when you first moved in, what colors were there and what did you change and why? And was there some colors? It could have been like this pink and blue wall covering that was there that you absolutely hated. So just take a minute to think about that, because that helps serve where you've been and where you're going as far as your color preferences in the last 10 years. And I'll let you take a few minutes to work with that. And if you'd like to share in the chat or unmute yourself when you're ready, feel free to.
That's quite an interesting question.
Okay.
Lived in the same house for 19 years, but the one before it, we fully renovated both homes. The one before it, I was just thinking about it, we had quite a lot of colour. So it was modern, but it was the bedrooms were different colours. Like the kids' rooms were beautiful, soft, or an orange, and one was yellow. I remember a soft yellow. The kitchen was aubergine, so purple, like what you're wearing, high gloss aubergine. And there was green, soft green, I think, in the lounge, and green curtains. And then we moved and bought a house that was beige on beige on beige. With young kids, that was right. So then we renovated, and it was mostly white and grey and stainless steel. The outside of the house was brown and white, cedar, and then we changed it to black. But the inside was quite void of colour until I've tried to put more in, because my husband doesn't like a lot of colour. But we have no colour on the walls. It's just white. Kitchen's high gloss white and stainless steel. I did get an amazing floral carpet, an old well, it's not old, it's new Axminster carpet, which has beautiful reds and greens. The furniture is green. It's interesting. I think I'm really void of colour here, and I'm really dying for some more colour. So we are going to renovate again, because our kids have left now, so we're in a different phase, so we'll redo. So I'll see how I go with my husband, fighting for some really interesting magentas and pinks and things.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share?
Okay. The last hi everyone. The last house I was in, because I'm new to Maryland. So the last house I was in, the entire house, the interior was painted like a yellow, a horrible yellow, not a soft yellow, not a gold. It was like, I don't know. I don't even know if it was like a kitchen yellow. It was just horrible. The entire house. So then I painted it, and I actually painted it myself, like a tan color to warm it up, but then it was blah. So then I went in and I had someone else paint it like a soft gray. And it was really pretty, because then I can change, the decor, like, the pillows could be orange, and, so I did that. And that was good. The house before that, all the walls were white except the family room, and it was this dark, what was it? Like a dark burgundy and a dark green in the family room, with heavy drapes when we purchased that house. So I did not change that family room, but I painted everything else, and we sold the house and moved to, different place.
Okay. So was there like, what did you learn from that?
That it could be depressing. It was just, it wasn't bright enough. I need color. And I've known that for quite some time. It needs to be vibrant. I just don't like dark spaces. So I wasn't happy, but I also saw the potential. So when we purchased it, I knew that I was going to change it.
Okay.
I didn't have a problem with that, because I know paint, is easy to do.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Anyone else want one more? Anyone else have any thoughts?
I'll go real
Okay.
quick. Mine's pretty quick. I really didn't have I realized I didn't even think about it. I don't have didn't have a connection with really color when at the places I lived prior, because a lot of the things were just what I could get. Either I got like something from my sister when she moved, or I just picked something up here or there. Nothing was really thought out, because I got what I could get at the time. the one apartment I had was really small, and I just didn't want to. Even here, it's small. I don't like accumulating a lot of things, but I was more intentional when I moved here with color. But prior to this, I wasn't really connected with color in my space because I just got what I could afford or what I could get from somebody else.
Right. Got it. Thank you for sharing. But now you have more of a opportunity to work with color in a different way. That's great. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is personal emotional wellness and striking that color balance between tranquility and serenity in your she space. We're all ladies here, I think, are identified, self-identified ladies, and understanding how these work, how color works for our emotional and personal wellness needs. So one of the things I always like to go back to illustrate the understanding of the power of color and our emotional state is taking a look at the amount of time and exposure that color in and of itself can impact our behavior and our physiology. Now, there's a research that was done by a guy named Shosh. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm not sure. He did this research on the color pink and how inmates in various prisons responded to it. And he found that a particular shade of pink, and I'm showing that there in the photo, led to a marked effect on lowering the heart rate, pulse, and respiration as compared to other colors. In other words, it calmed the men who were in these facilities down. So if every person, as he says, tries to be angry or aggressive in the presence of pink, he can't, end quote. And he claimed that the heart muscles can't race fast enough. And it's a tranquilizing color that saps your energy. So imagine that in a prison, how the power of color can change the personality of people who may be more aggressive. And as a result of that, there was a lot of different prisons across the country who adopted this color as part of the changing of the mood and settling of those that are there. Now, women's well-being, especially those undergoing midlife, such as menopause, can benefit significantly from color therapy in their home decor. And incorporating the right colors can help promote calm, peace, relaxation, which is especially important for women during these times of stress and change. And I'm not saying that those who are not in the menopause cannot benefit from this, but it is particularly interesting how color and I'm in midlife, can really influence how we feel in our surroundings. So what would life be without colors? And it's an important aspect of our interior environment, and colors are linked to different feelings and emotions. Now, going back to that pink again, pink is the color for love, and it promotes a feeling of comfort in uncertain times. If you decorate your home with accents of pink, you do so to feel love and romance into your space. Orange is a beautiful color to use when you want to feel younger. Light purple is the color for spirituality, and it helps deepen your sense of gratitude. For trauma-sensitive women, and these are women who have gone through maybe traumatic experiences in their relationships or in life in general, using certain colors to promote safety and security can be incredibly helpful in creating a space that feels welcoming and protected. And I'm just showing you here some examples of what we just talked about. Some of this might be a little over the top for you. Some of it you might be saying, oh my goodness, I can do that, right? So, on the left, you have this room that has the pink wall, but is complemented by a gray sofa and a neutral area rug. The one in the middle that has more of a purple shade, or in the purple family, you have purple draperies, sofa, maybe a contrasting gray area rug, and you popped it with a plant with a green and some neutral paintings or artwork, I should say. And then the orange, go all out, lots of energy there. If that doesn't make you feel youthful, I don't know what will. So this is the thing that I really thought was really interesting, this slide here, where we talk about women's color preferences by age. And think about what they're saying here. So these are favorite colors that on average, based on certain studies, that women like or dislike. And you don't have to say your age or anything, but take a look at this chart and see, do you feel like this is kind of close to how you feel? If you were between the age of 0 and 18, were you into like, colors like purple versus if you're in between 36 and 50, blue? And then look at those least favorite colors. Any response to that chart? Now, brown has never been a favorite color of mine. I have appreciated it the older that I get for various reasons. The color blue, which we talked about previously, is a color that both genders agree upon. So men like blue and women like blue. So I'm just interested in knowing, is that true for any of you? No.
No, not for, yeah, no, not for me. When I was very young, maybe I can remember like second grade or so, I loved purple.
Mm.
Yeah, after that, I stayed with navy blue.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really shy in college. I still wore navy blue in college. And then after I came out is when I started loving the brighter colors, meaning orange and all shades of orange. And now I'm starting to like the mustard or the golds. So no, that does not, and that shade of brown, you can't like that. I didn't mind chocolate on certain things, like an
Right,
actual
exactly.
chocolate color. Yeah, but that is, yeah, that's bad. So and I've never been a red person. I just didn't think it looked good on my skin, that it
Right.
wasn't for me. But when I see people in it, they look nice. I just don't think I do. So no, I don't agree with that chart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing, I'll get to you in a minute, Jill. One thing I wanted to mention is that for women, and this has been studied, and I've even studied it and surveyed it myself. The older we get as women, the more bolder we are with our colors. I think we can kind of agree to that. I know for me, there are certain colors I absolutely hated when I was younger. I was very conservative. But now that I'm in my 50s, there are some colors that, damn, I just really like that orange. Or I really like that bright yellow, what I'm saying? So, and I just did, or a fuchsia or something like that. And I'm like, wow, but I hated that color before, you know what I mean? So I think we get more daring. Jill, you had some comments.
I agree. I did have some comments, but the piggyback on what you just said is definitely true. I think as I've gotten older, I definitely like the bold. But I've always liked red. So, but yeah, this is totally not I never liked blue. I still don't really care for blue. I sometimes have to, because I like to learn about chakras and like things like that. So I at one point I made myself kind of surround myself with blue a little bit just to kind of help my throat chakra. But the brown, when I was younger, I loved the natural colors, like not natural, the what do you, earth tones.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, I used to always like the earth tone colors, like the tans and the kind of like chocolates and I used to like that more so than the colors that they're saying. So yeah, it's not matching.
Yeah.
It's not really true for me
Yeah.
either. Mm-mm.
So I think a lot of times when we see these studies, and this is a really good example of that, they're taking just this one little sample, right? And it may be too homogeneous, or it may be, just at a particular snapshot in time. But it's always important to really understand that we can't generalize what color is for everyone. Everyone has a different taste, a different preference. And it's really important. And you just mentioned chakra. Look at what we got here. So, so I wanted to bring this in, is that chakra colors. And you can see in this diagram here. And for those who don't know what chakras are, they are energy points in our bodies, and they are energy centers. And they work with or organs, specific organs, and they give us various wavelengths of light and energy. And if any of these 7 chakras, which I understand there's even more than 7, but the 7 main chakras go from the crown of our head to our root chakra, which is in our energy center at the bottom, in our pelvis. And for optimum health, you want to make sure that each of these chakra centers, these energetic centers, are in good operating order, that they're not stuck or not blocked in any way. And this really comes from Eastern traditions. Okay. And we're going to talk a little bit about different traditions and how colors are associated with these things. So for optimum health, it is, best to incorporate the 7 colors, as you see here, to any space: red, yellow, blue, green, orange, purple, and indigo. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do that, but this might be another, if this kind of energetic wellness color scheme, works for you, this is something you might want to consider. How do you bring these colors in? Do you bring them in through accessories or what have you? Ayurveda is another form of wellness. Ayurveda is from the East Indian tradition, and it's used to treat what we call doshas. And those are our constitutions based on various things. And I know Alessandra knows about what these are. And these are another forms of imbalances, and imbalances in our bodies caused by levels of stress, and not eating correctly, and not working with our circadian rhythm, our circadian time cycles. And depending on what your dosha is, and you can work with Ayurveda specialists, certain colors can help you harmonize emotions, promote peace of mind, and each color is associated with different attributes. And a proper balance is maintained in Ayurveda through food, colors, for example, and those kinds of things, if these are something that may be important to you. And what I have here is just this picture of what I think is kind of interesting, how these colors were kind of incorporated, through a wall color, drapery, accent pillows, and so forth. So this is an example of how you can bring in these kinds of methodologies and wellness practices into creating a space that speaks to you, and it's not speaking to anybody else. And it helps you with your wellness and how you feel when you're in the space. Feng Shui, one of my favorite subjects. It's an Eastern practice. It's about 6,000 or 7,000 years old. It comes from China. It's analyzing where things go to create most healthful and beneficial energy flow, and using colors in your home based on how you respond to the energy is a crucial component to the process. And, Feng Shui can get kind of complex, but I'm just going to deal with what we call the 5 elements. So, the 5 elements are water, wood, earth, fire, and metal. Okay. And these are some examples of how to bring in those energies. Again, looking at the water energy, for example, the colors are blue and black. These colors help us concentrate, meditate, creative endeavors, and can slow the heart and breathing rates and lower blood pressure. Blue is typically a cool color, and it was very calming. Green is associated with the wood energy, which is the energy of growth, decisiveness, and action in the season of spring. So, now this time of year, you see a lot more greenery, which is the wood element coming into fruition. Yellow is associated with the earth energy, representing Mother Earth, and it can cheer, infuse with hope, clarity, and elevate mental activity. Also creates a sense of stability. When you think of earth tones, they kind of give us this groundedness and stability, and it's nurturing. Red is associated with the fire element, which supports life energy, the color of blood. But it can increase the heart rate, respiration, and blood pressure. So you have to be careful with red. It also can promote activity, alleviate depression, and it is a color of passion and love. White and metallic colors are associated with the metal energy, and they can support carefulness and focus, as well as purity. So these are ways that the 5 elements can be represented in the space as well. Now, another area that, a lot of times we don't talk about is nature and how we feel when we're in nature, such as in our gardens, in vacation spots, and those kinds of things. Like for the top right there, that wooded area reminds me of a park that isn't far from where I live. And whenever I walk through that park, these are the colors I see. And imagine pulling those colors in, particularly if you're really into outdoors and hiking and things like that. Maybe that's something that inspires you, that you want to maybe bring into your space in some way. Gardens is another thing. This, time of year, flowers and things in the Northern Hemisphere here in the United States is, these things are coming up. So these are also ways to kind of bring in feelings of the outdoors. And then the bottom right, reminds me of vacations that I've been in the Caribbean and Mexico and other places, where you have this really cool and inviting blue energy that you see in the sky and the water and around the natural environment. So these are also ways to inspire your space that kind of gives you that, wow, we hate to leave our vacation spot, but why not bring the vacation at home and inspire you in a particular room or space or what have you. Here's another example here of a color palette that's inspired by that. Here's another one, how these colors have been incorporated into a space and is inspired by the space. The green, the avocado toast, the deep dive of the blue from the table, the Nairobi blue from the wall color. Just amazing ways that we can pull together things that kind of create what I call our customized power color palettes, because these are things that inspire us and give us what we need for our spaces. So we've talked about quite a bit this evening, and we've done some exercises and things, and where do we go from here? And I just pulled this whole thing together because I often hear people really confused about how they can put together colors in their home, or they're overwhelmed by different things and rules and all those kinds of things. And I'm just here to tell you that you don't have to go by what I call the color police, I call it, where it says, oh, well, this color and that color, and certain things need to be a certain way and so forth. I really believe in individuals really seeking for themselves what's going to work for them and why they enjoy their spaces, and what do they want. Do they want to create moods? Do they want to feel like they're in a tropical paradise? Do they want to feel energized in their spaces? So here's a few things. One of the things that I have that I just started a beta test on is the Unleash Your Color course. I do have Anna is in that course right now. And this is an opportunity to kind of take what we just talked about and just bring it into a self-paced course where you can begin to think about your thoughts around color and what inspires you. I think it's kind of like that first step, and understanding how you can surround yourself with the right colors to balance your life, emotions, and promote healing. Incorporate the right colors in your home to promote calm, peace, and relaxation. I feel like that's really important for women in midlife or in any time of her life to begin to think about what she wants to do to change her space. Using colors that promote safety and security is transformative, and creating a space that feels welcoming and protective. And I invite you to consider this course to help you begin to think about colors that you may want to recreate in your home and your life through exploration. So it's just like a second step into figuring out color, because color is complex. It's not something you just go out and just pick. You really want to think about, what does it mean personally to you? And how can we explore it in a way that's safe and kind of like, okay, I never thought about that before. I've never really examined what certain colors can do for me. So it's a short self-paced course. You master, a little bit about color, about what it is. You discover your power color, how to use color therapy and the ancient art of Feng Shui to create uplifting moods, or just examine different colors that we just talked about. And it also helps you explore how colors make you feel, placing word associations with various colors, and practice experiencing some color in a different way. So the price for this course is only $35. Really, really cheap. It includes access to an online community of women that I'll show you in just a second. And it includes the recording of this PowerPoint that you can go back to in case you missed something. And this is the website for it, and I'll put it in the chat in just a second. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I have a aroma color balance on demand workshop. And this is a recording that I did as an aromatherapist, looking at essential oils and how you can bring in color with essential oils. So that's a really cool little class that I did. It also gives you access to our online community. And it's a foundational class as well. I think doing both of these to kind of give you a sense of getting comfortable with color might be advantageous to you too. This one is only $20. And then I have a book called Simply Color for Everyday Living. It is a extremely colorful book. And it talks about all kinds of ways to incorporate color in your life and have an appreciation for it. It's 100 illustrations and photos. It was written by Deantha Harris. I was one of the contributors of the book. I have a chapter on color in the feel-good space. And it's practical ways to use color in our lives. The contributors include color specialists, real estate folks, designers like myself, and even chefs, right? You know, looking at the colors of food, which is, I think, is kind of interesting. I do one-on-one color consultations. I do emotional balance. I do online and in person if you're in the Maryland, DC area. And then I can do color therapy and aromatherapy consultations as well. And you see my prices there. And then coming this fall and winter, I am so excited. I am going to be opening my books to everybody and doing what I call a color alchemy, a mentoring and color program. And this will be a 4-week course, and then a mentor program, monthly mentor program to work with individuals who may want to do more in this area, even if they might want to go professionally in this area. And I'm thinking about making this a certified course for those who are interested in exploring color therapy, or just wanting to know more about color for themselves, for their friends, and feeling more confident in creating color palettes. And this is just from my 18 years of doing interior design, working for Benjamin Moore as a professional color consultant, and other things that I've done. And you know, you'll learn how to use light, what LRVs are, how to look at a color deck, or you know, those paint color chips, and how to really look at how the light interacts with them to be able to pick the right color for your spaces. So I'm going to stop sharing here. Oh, wait a minute before I do that. This is my information, but I think most of you have my information now since you signed up for the course. This is my email, my phone number, and my website. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and then I'm going to stop the recording.